Good evening. I'd like to call to order a council meeting of Monday, October 21st, 2024. Everyone that can, please rise for the playing of the national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Quand on brasse et porte le pays, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Niagara Region and Grimsby are situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattaway-Wendourong, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The regional municipality of Niagara and the town of Grimsby stands with all Indigenous peoples, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest? Seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder to approve the agenda? Moved by Councillor Frank, second by Councillor Bradsey. Moved by Councillor Frank, second by Councillor Bradsey. Resolved that the October 21st, 2024 council meeting agenda be approved. All in favor? That's carried. Up next, we have a regional councillor update. Councillor Seaborn, you're welcome to take the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jordan, and thank you for allowing me to change the order of your agenda slightly today. Do appreciate it. I promised I'd keep this short because I know you have a big meeting tonight. So I wanted to talk to you briefly about something that most of us don't give a second thought to, and that is water. Where does it go? Where does it come from? And do we know that it's safe? In Grimsby, our water is drawn from Lake Ontario. It travels through many steps, including the coagulation, sedimentation, filtration, disinfection, and finally into our water mains and into our homes with safe drinking water. Now, that's a very simplistic view of it. Wastewater is similar in that it is all used water. It has to be treated before it's released back into the lake. So your rainwater and your runoff that comes in your gutters and hits the sewers also end up in those wastewater treatment plants. The process initially uses screens and settling tanks to remove most of the heavy solids. The water is then put into settling tanks where it's allowed to split. The sludge goes to the bottom, the scum rises to the top, and it's the center part that goes on to the rest of the process, which involves several other settling tanks. This partially treated wastewater moves to the next level, which is a digest of bacteria. Some treatment plants follow this step with the sand filter to remove more pollutants. The water is then disinfected with chlorine, ozone, or ultraviolet light. And all this takes place for $2 per household per day. In Niagara, 153 million liters of safe, reliable drinking water are processed every day. 212 million liters of wastewater are also treated every day. However, the infrastructure that carries this fresh, safe water to our homes and the sewers that carry the wastewater away is aging. In fact, in Niagara, 44% of our facilities for fresh water are in poor or very poor condition and declining. 49% are the same for our wastewater facilities. In fact, 77% of our clean water treatment plants are over 100 years old. And 90% of the wastewater treatment plants are over 50 years old. This leads to reactive maintenance, which is outpacing preventative maintenance. In Grimsby, upgrades have been identified for both our fresh and wastewater treatment plants to support the growth, which will be partially funded through development charges. In 2025, the region's wastewater master service plan update will review and determine the capital growth project required to accommodate the anticipated population increase of Grimsby and the rest of the Niagara region. Our town's public works group will be part of that process. As an example, some of us may have been in Calgary when the water mains broke. They had the big conference at that time, and many of us also went to Ottawa and passed through Toronto with the torrential rains that led to flooded houses, roads, and even the subway. This aging infrastructure and the inability to handle the excessive rainwater runoff have become a serious concern. The region's current financial plan for capital financing does not fund the asset investment needed. In order to get back on track, there is a proposed wastewater budget increase in the amount of 24 cents per person per day. This will help us meet some of those goals within the 10-year project timeline. That will bring the total expenditure for your fresh water and your wastewater per household, not based on assessment, not based on the number of people in your home, but per household will be $2.24 a day. That's less than the price of a cup of coffee. And at the bottom, I've just reminded everyone that the Safe Drinking Water Act of 2002 imposes a statutory standard of care that applies to municipal councillors. More specifically, every person who on behalf of the municipalities oversees the operating authority of the system or exercises the decision-making authority shall abide by that act. And failure to meet the statutory standard of care comes with serious consequences. I spoke of this briefly last year as well, but this year in meetings, we've really focused on the poor condition that what our infrastructure is. And of course, we've all seen firsthand lots of cases of where the infrastructure has caused major problems for the communities. So that's my report for today. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If there's any information I can't answer, I will gladly get back to you about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Seaborn. We've got some questions. Councillor Frick.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a question, but I want to thank you because I think that the public needs to hear this. I think that we don't realize how lucky we really are here with the clean drinking water and the way we process our wastewater. So thank you for simplifying it, and I think this is very valuable for the general public to know. Maybe we can publish this in a newspaper or something. Thank you, Michelle.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Councillor Vardy.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. I guess I'm not so happy about that because I did the math and did the 250 was a day times 365 days comes to $788.48. And I'd say for a family of 4, that's a big chunk of extra change, particularly when we've got such high inflation. So what I would want you to carry back to the region is, I think we need to, if this is necessary, and it sounds like it is, then we need to prioritize and not spend as much money on other things, because I think, looking at this math, it's unacceptable.
Thank you. We have recognized this as being very important. The ability to bring our residents clean drinking water is probably one of the biggest priorities that both the region and the municipality share. I will certainly bring back the fact that when it comes to the budget, there's a lot of places that we need to look at to cut. I'm not sure that how I feel about cutting back on this. I think it's really important that we catch up rather than go further behind.
If I could just follow up, I'm not saying we don't do this. What I'm saying is maybe we should think a lot about not doing other things to offset the cost of this, because this is not acceptable. Thank you.
Councillor Korstanchi.
Thank you, through you, Chair. I have a question, and you might have to get back to me on this, and actually I prefer you did, the sewage wastewater aroma. I've had lots of complaints about the area in the neighborhood, and I know there's been back and forth with the region and stuff like that, and I know they are redoing everything, and there are still concerns in the neighborhood if what they're doing is going to be able to handle, and it's gotten to the point where it's quite unbearable for a lot of the neighbors in that area where they can't even sit outside, and I know I've driven by on the highway and I can smell it, so I won't put you on the spot now. If you could look into that and then get back to me, or you want to present that, I would really appreciate that. That would be great.
I will certainly take that under advisement. Thank you.
Councillor DeFlavio.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you. Thank you, Councillor Seaborn. It's definitely one of the most important things that the region does. I've got a question about the numbers that you have there, and if you can't, just like everybody else, if you can't answer them. So you're $2 and $2.24 a day. That is for water alone, water and wastewater from the region. Doesn't include the town's portion, which is a significant portion of the water and wastewater. The reason why I'm asking is because I've had people email me their water bill, and every water bill I've seen is for a year is more than that amount. So unless there's a lot of people averaging on the low side, I know it's an average, but that's significantly less than what I've seen.
If I could clarify a bit, the rate was figured out by figuring out how much the whole process, this is your clean water and your wastewater. And then the full budgeted amount for that divided by the number of people in, or households in Niagara. So it doesn't matter if your house has 2 people or 22 people in it, that is the average per household is $2.24. And I think I forgot where your question came.
Well, sorry, through you, Mayor. That cost is only one portion of the actual cost of water and wastewater. There's a significant portion on municipal taxes. There's a significant portion on the levy, on the water bill and the wastewater portion of that water bill. So as much as I appreciate what you're saying, I think to be honest with people, we need to explain that it's really 3 or 4 times that amount that people are paying for water and wastewater. And that has nothing to do with just the region, to be clear. That's just the cost, because the regulations related to water in 2024 as a result of Walkerton and necessary regulations, but have made it so that the things that we need to do to achieve the cleanliness of water that is necessary, and again, that's an important thing, is really expensive. And so I don't, you're giving us that one piece, but when we get to budget time, we'll be talking about how much the town spends on water and how much people pay the town for water. And I think it's going to be realistically a significantly much higher amount of money. That was all.
Thank you for that. Actually, to clarify, this is the amount that the region charges the municipality for water. It's the municipality that puts out the water bills and has their own rate. But that's what the region will charge the municipality. Sorry if I didn't make that clear before.
Seeing no further questions, thank you very much for your presentation. Councillor Seaborn. Up next, we're moving into closed session. Can I have a mover and seconder to move into closed? Councillor Councillor Corstangi, Councillor Howe. Moved by Councillor Corstangi, second by Councillor Howe. Resolved that council meet in closed session under Section 2392F of the Municipal Act, where a closed meeting is held if the subject matter being considered is advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. Section 2392C of the Municipal Act, where a closed meeting is held if the subject matter being considered is proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. All in favor to go into closed? That's carried. All right. Members, any members of the public and staff? Thank you. All right, can I have a mover and seconder, or we're now back in open session. Welcome back, everyone. Can I have a mover and seconder for the closed session direction? Councillor DeVoley, Councillor Howe. Moved by Councillor DeVoley, second by Councillor Howe. Resolved that the biodigester update provided in closed session be received and the direction provided in closed session regarding parkland be approved. All in favor? That's carried. Up next, we have chair reports. Councillor Frick will now give chair's report from the Corporate Services Committee meeting.
Thank you, Mayor Jordan. Corporate Services met on the 7th of October at 12 noon. We received Corporate Services Committee minutes from June the 3rd, Joint Fire Services Advisory Committee from June 19th, and Joint Fire Services Advisory Committee minutes from September the 18th. We had no delegations. We had a number of discussion reports. The first one being the Town of Grimsby branding project, which Christina Davidson gave. A very comprehensive report with a plan to embark on getting a branding for Grimsby. We currently don't have a brand. We have a logo, we have a crest, but we don't have a brand. So, and a brand identifies what we are, who we are. So she wanted to pursue that. The benefits of a good brand: it helps to attract investment, it helps to attract tourism, it improves the identity of our community in general. However, there are some financial impacts to this particular project, and she already have $25,000 in the budget, which we moved from economic development over to communications, but she requires another $40,000 to top that up in the next budget. That was that report. It's quite comprehensive. I encourage you to read it. Our second report was from Henry on short-term rentals, which we had quite a few discussions on over time. Currently, Town of Grimsby does not have a licensing arrangement or a process for either short-term rentals or B&Bs. It would include or would need a huge number of in-town resources across multiple departments, so the cost of running a program would be quite high. I don't have the number, but it's a number he will get for us. But based on the legal advice, the public input, and staff, it's suggesting that we not go down the road of an STR or short-term rental bylaw and licensing. The cost to do a complete study is somewhere in the area of about $100,000, so it's quite high. So he did provide two options. That was one of them, and the other one was that the report just be received for info and bring it to council, which we're doing. The next report was on the committee vacancies. We have a number of vacancies in the age-friendly committee, and it was suggested that council proceed to approve to fill those positions. I think there was 4 positions in that committee. The report also suggested that council reappoint the members from the culture committee to 2 other committees. One was the museum, and I forget the other one now offhand. We did receive some correspondence, which was a memo to extend the legal contract we currently have, and that was received, and it was recommended that council proceed with that. And then under other business, Philip gave us an update on the Rogers communications project, a contract, sorry. And that was it.
All right, thank you, Councillor Frick. I'm up next with the Planning and Development Committee meeting of October 16th. Our item on the agenda that evening was the official plan review update. Staff has really done a great job getting it out to the public, and certainly our official plan, as we're reviewing it, we've had a lot of input through the Charette and through the think tanks, and we've certainly had a lot of public communication and input, and certainly a lot of people have personally got back to me saying the Charette downtown was a really great idea. We're moving forward with the transportation master plan, the parks master plan, and the complete community plan. A number of different items from the public were some of the items that the public decided on and felt was important, was very eye-opening and really gave us a broad view of where we're moving forward with our official plan. Our next phase is the technical review of the official plan, and we'll have a draft release with, again, more public review. So those are what's upcoming. Thank you. And those were the only committee reports. Before we approve the previous minutes, Councillor Davoli has made a request within prescribed timelines in the procedural bylaw to lift item 5.2 from the Corporate Services Committee. Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Bradsey. Moved by Councillor Davoli, second by Councillor Bradsey. Resolved that item 5.2 from the Corporate Services Committee minutes of October 7th, 2024 be lifted for separate consideration. All in favor to lift it? That's carried. Councillor Davoli, please proceed.
Mayor Jordan, thank you. I'd like to take this time to actually clarify some comments about our fire master plan that I made at the July 8th, 2024 council meeting. And let me begin by saying that I apologize if my comments cast any doubt on the capabilities of the consulting firm that undertook the fire master plan. My comments were not motivated by malice. They were merely intended as discussion points and to express the committee's concerns when making recommendations to our council based upon the report we had received. It is unfortunate if my comments were taken out of context. The study began before many of us were elected to this council, in fact, and we were elected in the fall of 2022. I recognize that there were recommendations provided as part of the fire master plan, and in fact, within that report are approximately 11 recommendations. And I would like to share with you some of the primary ones, which included items such as establishing a permanent Niagara West Fire and Emergency Services that would provide fire protection to the municipalities of Grimsby and Lincoln, to accept the principle of a composite fire service, and I want to emphasize to accept the principle of a composite fire service, and as part of this recommendation, to reassess the circumstances under which a general call-out of volunteers would be necessary, to refine the net cost versus the utility of the composite staffing options presented, to commission a consulting team or internal resources to evaluate the roles and responsibilities of the chief and deputy chief's positions, to introduce analytics and components of the integrated risk management program. The Joint Fire Services Committee received the consultant's report. We met with the consultant. We discussed the report on June 19th, 2024. And the minutes of this meeting and the subsequent one of September are on our agenda tonight as part of the corporate services. In my opinion, and I will say as evidenced by the recommendation that came from the Joint Committee to both councils, many of these recommendations require a more in-depth analysis before proceeding further, and this was agreed upon by the Joint Committee. As an outcome of the Fire Master Plan, both municipalities have now released a joint RFP called the Fire Service Delivery Review and Feasibility Analysis of the Grimsby and Lincoln Fire Services, and I'm sorry that's not easily summarized into an acronym, and it is going to provide some of the detailed analysis we believe is required. When I said I was hoping the crystal ball would become much clearer, I will say my expectations for the report were probably greater or even different than what the consultants were contracted for. As many of you know my financial background, you can understand my concern that we need more current data, we need more detailed analysis, especially as it relates to the potential benefits and costs, before making any recommendations about our future fire services. So the Fire Master Plan has certainly been enlightening, especially for those of us who are councillors and don't work directly in the field. I can assure you we will continue with the next steps, and a final update is expected to come to the Joint Fire Committee and then to Council in the summer of 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davoldi. Can I have a mover and seconder to approve the previous minutes? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. So just is approving the minutes also approving the budget increase for the branding project? Is it?
That's been forwarded to the 2025 budget. All right, need a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Vardy, second by Councillor Frake. Moved by Councillor Vardy, second by Councillor Frake. Resolved that the following minutes be approved. Corporate Services Committee, October 7th, 2024. Council, October 7th, 2024. Planning and Development Committee, October 16th, 2024. All in favor? That's carried. Can I have a mover and seconder to approve the council endorsement package from the Heritage Committee? Councillor DeFlavio and Councillor Corstangi. Moved by Councillor DeFlavio, second by Councillor Corstangi. Resolved that the council endorsement package from the Grimsby Heritage Advisory Committee dated September 16th, 2024 be approved. All in favor? That's carried. Can I have a mover and seconder to receive the staff memo on the BIA financial transition? Councillor Howe and Councillor Corstangi. Moved by Councillor Howe, second by Councillor Corstangi. Resolved that the memorandum from staff on the BIA financial transition be received. All in favor? That's carried. All right, can I have a mover and seconder to receive the board minutes? Councillor DeFlavio. Oh, Councillor Howe, you have a question?
Well, I just want to make
All right.
a comment on one.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, those minutes is to me an outstanding loss for us. And Catherine Drury announced her retirement from the library after 9 years of phenomenal leadership. Certainly going to be big shoes to fill. And but if it was possible to pull it back, Catherine, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Howe. Moved by Councillor Howe, second by Councillor DeFlavio. Resolved that the following board minutes be received. Grimsby Public Library Board, September 11th, 2024. Grimsby Heritage Advisory Committee, September 16th, 2024. Grimsby Downtown BIA, October 9th, 2024. All in favor? That's carried. All right, before we get to announcements, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that October 20th to 26th is Local Government Week. There will be various posts on the Town of Grimsby Facebook page and Instagram accounts and to educate the public on the vital services delivered by municipal governments. Are there any other announcements this evening? Councillor Sharwa.
Through you, Chair, thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge the great work done by our Community Services Department this weekend for the, can't remember the name of it, Spook and somebody. No, not Grimsby Glows. Moonlight Market, yes, something like that. It was a fantastic turnout. There were so many people out. It was a beautiful day. So they worked something with Mother Nature too. So it was great. Tons of families there. fabulous, fabulous job. They go and whatever money that, are spent and directed towards community service, I think we get so much value. So I just wanted to say thank you, because I hear all the time about how amazing our community service department does. And so I just wanted to acknowledge them again. And this coming Saturday, I just wanted to point out that the DIA has an event, and I just had
It's
it here.
called Nightmare on Main Street.
Yes, Nightmare on Main Street, and it's Saturday, October 26th. There's some things happening starting at 10:30 a.m., like pumpkin carving and things like that for the little ones. And then there is an outdoor movie screening at 6:30 p.m. outside Station 1. So more stuff happening this weekend. Thank you.
Yeah, and just to add to Councillor Charwa, many of the merchants will be giving out treats to any little kids that come to the merchants with their costumes on. So that's happening all downtown from 10:30 to 3. And Councillor Frick, I really hope you have a good costume. Councillor Howe.
If I can, Mayor, respect to correspondence, I think everybody got the notice of submission in respect to the escarpment crossing. It was in our mails, in our paper. It hasn't died. It hasn't died. And as long as it stays there, we stand a chance. The people down at the region are acknowledging it. Our staff here are quite aware of it. But it'll be 10 years before anything happens, but something's got to be done, and at least it's creeping along.
Councillor Bradsey.
Thank you, Mayor, through you. I've got two here. It's a busy couple of weeks. So on last Wednesday, it was my pleasure to represent Town Council for the Grimsby Curling Club's inaugural night for the opening of the season. Was able to throw out the first ceremonial rock alongside Regional Councillor Michelle Seaborn, Rebecca Shelley of the Chamber of Commerce, our neighboring, or the dark side neighbor, Jeff Beattie, councillor in Hamilton. And I was the lone member who was able to stick the rock in the house. It was 2 feet from the button, so definitely assured the residents that their council was capable of finding the house, which they enjoyed. And then this past Saturday, I was the Jillian's Place, Walk a Mile in Her Shoes event at the Penn Center. So we had the Town of Grimsby team. Although we didn't place too highly in the fundraising, we raised about just over $1,600. Jillian's Place succeeded in raising over $126,000, so it was definitely a great event for them. And I definitely have to give a shout out to Grimsby business owner Gabriel DeSantis for raising like $25,000, and I think he took the sixth fundraising trophy in a row, 6 years in a row. So it's definitely definitely achievement there, and definitely a good representation of the town of Grimsby. But I think next year, I've definitely committed to staying on with as an ambassador to Jillian's Place. I really think we need to step up and bring home a trophy as well too. I think Grimsby could easily sweep the table. And had I been able to catch the ace donation, I would have won already, and we could do a lot better. Like myself and everyone around here, and I think we've definitely all spoken activating for the causes that Jillian's Place does around this horseshoe before, and I think we should do more ourselves for on-the-ground issues next year.
Councillor DeFlavio.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you. On Friday, Carolyn Kauke came all the way from Hull, Northern England. She's a professor there. She came to the author series and spoke. Her most recent book is Queen of the Mist, which is about the first woman and first person to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. It's a really interesting tale. So she came a long way, and she and her husband and her partner were engaged on the day of on Friday in Niagara Falls before she came to speak at the author series, which was great. So we all gave her a big round of applause because he was there with her. And Jeannie Becker, who everybody knows from fashion television and the new music and my entire childhood, was there, and she was spectacular. Like honestly, I could listen to her speak for hours because she talked about Keith Richards and other stories, like going to the islands and interviewing these people. Her book sounds incredible too. It's a bunch of stories from her life. Our next author series is Brian Turnbull and Opal Way in November 15th. And there's a special author series in December for Christmas, the Christmas-related one. All of the proceeds always go to the library. It helps to fund programs and special things that go on at the library. I had not known that Catherine was retiring, or else I would have thanked her there. But she's hosted the series. She's interviewed authors. Besides doing an incredible job of running the library, she's also heavily involved in every aspect of library programming. So she is going to be difficult to replace, as Dawn mentions. But she's blazed a really good trail for whoever comes and will leave, even though they're big shoes to fill, leaves things in really good working order. So thank you to all of those that are involved in that, and I'm looking forward to the next one already. Thanks, Mayor.
Seeing no further announcements, yeah.
Grimsby Glows.
And I just want to add that Grimsby Glows is at Coronation Park on November 1st. And so there'll be lots of pumpkins carved there. It's been a really, really good turnout from everyone in town. So it's just something that's really, really, it really puts out the spirit of the town. And just further, I was happy to go to the Legion on Thursday night. I actually had a regional council meeting. I zoomed in, left my council meeting to go down to the Legion to not draw the ace, which was really good, and on behalf of McNally House and the Legion. And just keep that jackpot growing. We want to see a big one like Hagersville. So that's the end of announcements. Up next, we have discussion reports. Can I have a mover and seconder to get the Balsam Lane Christmas Market Report on the floor for discussion? Councillor Vardy, seconder. Councillor Bradsey. Moved by Councillor Vardy, seconded by Councillor Bradsey. Resolved that report PA 24-38 Balsam Lane Christmas Market Update dated October 21st, 2024 be received.
Is there any discussion?
Any discussion on that? Councillor Sharwa?
Sorry, I was just receiving.
Okay.
Yeah, Harold's here online.
Harold is here if there's any questions.
Great, let's vote.
Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. All right, now we move to correspondence. Can I have a mover and seconder for the Local Government Week proclamation? Moved by Councillor Vardy, second by Councillor Corstangi. Moved by Councillor Vardy, second by Councillor Corstangi, whereas October 20th to 26th, 2024 is Local Government Week in Ontario, an opportunity to reflect on the vital services delivered by municipal governments, and whereas municipal governments play a vital role in helping to define the character, priorities, physical makeup, and quality of life communities across Ontario. Therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Jeff Jordan, on behalf of the town of Grimsby, do hereby join with partners such as the Association of Municipal Managers, Clerks and Treasurers of Ontario, AMCTO, in acknowledging and celebrating the work of local municipalities by proclaiming October 20th to 26th, 2024 as Local Government Week in Grimsby. All in favor? That's carried. Can I have a mover and seconder for the Ontario Public Library Week proclamation? Moved by Councillor Devoldy, second by Councillor Sharwa. Moved by Councillor Devoldy, second by Councillor Sharwa. Whereas October 20th to 26th, 2024 is celebrated across the province as Ontario Public Library Week, and whereas during the week, libraries raise awareness of the valuable role that libraries play in the lives of residents and larger communities, and whereas Grimsby Public Library serves as a community hub for lifelong learning and championing of the joy of reading, and plays a vital role in helping citizens of all ages access information and tools that they need to live, learn, and work. And whereas the staff, library board, and volunteers of the Grimsby Public Library provide a vital service to our community, and whereas the Grimsby Public Library builds community through partnerships, championing inclusivity, and ensuring equitable access for all, and whereas the theme of Ontario Public Library Week this year is Libraries for Life, focusing on the role that public libraries play in supporting individual and collective connections to the past and future of our communities, nations, and civilizations. And whereas the Grimsby Public Library will be celebrating Ontario Public Library Week with the lineup of activities including an author visit from Jessica Rose on Wednesday, October 23rd. Therefore, I, Mayor Jeff Jordan, do hereby proclaim October 20th to 26th, 2024 as Ontario Public Library Week in the town of Grimsby, and encourage all residents to show their support for our local public library all year long, but most especially this week, by visiting the library to take advantage of their rich offering of programs, collections, and services. All in favor? That's carried. Can I have a mover and seconder for the bylaws? Councillor Howe, Councillor Frake. Moved by Councillor Howe, second by Councillor Frake. Resolved that leave be given to introduce bylaw 24-72 and 24-73, and that same be read a first time, considered, and passed. All in favor? That's carried. The next council meeting is scheduled for November 4th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. Can I have a mover and seconder for the confirming bylaw? Moved by Councillor DeFlavio, second by Councillor Frake. Moved by Councillor DeFlavio, second by Councillor Frake. Resolved leave given to introduce bylaw 24-74, and that same be read a first time, considered, and passed. All in favor? And that's carried. Meeting is adjourned. Good night, everyone.